one of the things that I wanted to come on with and pretty much not backtrack, but just reveal all over again is the pure potential that we all have. And one of the books that I'll be coming from tonight and from my notes is The Law of Pure Potential. And that book is going to be, and that law is going to be coming from the book of The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. And so I want to remind everybody of who you are, what you are, and your potential on this planet and on this plane. So one of the things I wanted to start off with is just by saying that, all of us have the ability to change the world that we live in. And it takes the collective, but it also takes the individual putting in the action in order to see what they want to see in the world. So one of the things that, we do in the conscious community a lot is we point fingers. We pointing fingers here, we pointing fingers there, we pointing fingers over here and this, that, and the third. But at what point in time do we look at ourselves and say, okay, what can I do as the individual that has to live in this world and has to put up with the things that people are putting in front of us to put up with? So how are we going to take control of our lives in order to implement it into society, right? In order to build society in the fashion and the likeness that we want to see it in, right? And that don't matter if you work in a 9 to 5, that don't matter if you're entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing out here, it don't really matter. At the end of the day, what are you doing in society, right? Using your pure potential in society in order to see the changes that we want to see in society. And sometimes it's just really that simple. And so one of the things, I want to start off with is the law of pure potential. One of the things we're going to be going in tonight is, the aftermath of the whole corona and the pandemic and different things of that nature. We're going to touch on that. We also on tonight, we're going to touch on the global crisis, that everybody's spitting and they trying to say this and say that about the eclipse and this. It's a lot of things that everybody's saying. So we're going to touch on a little bit of all that. But one of the things I wanted to read out of the book is that it says, the source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potential seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. And when we realize that our true self is one of pure potential, we align with the power that manifests everything in the universe. So that's basically the gist of what we're going to be doing. And again, the book that I'm going to be coming out of tonight is The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. And so what that basically is saying is, it's not saying that you creating something out of nothing. No, in the unmanifested world, or the world that we can't see or what and whatnot, our thoughts, the air that we breathe, for instance, is that there is a substance there. It's existent, but it's not seen. It's not in the physical world. So one of the things that this book start off with is a quote from the Rig Veda that is it hit pretty hard for some people. For some people, it don't. In the beginning, there was neither existence nor non-existence. All this world was unmanifest energy, the one breath without breath, by its own power. Nothing else was there. So what that basically saying for me and how I like to explain it is that no matter how you look at it, if you reading it from the Bible, if you reading it from the Rig Veda, if you looking at it from the seed of life growing into the tree of life, if you looking at it from whatever perspective that you're looking at it from, at the end of the day, there was a substance there that manifested or created or put everything into existence to see what we see now, right? So when I sit back personally and I look at all of the religions, spiritualities, all of the conscious movements that I'm a part of, that I'm not a part of, all of these different things, right? One of the bases of all spirituality, all religions, is that there was a substance, there was something there when everything else wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And so, and this is why, I always want to backtrack, because in every spirituality, in every religion, every faction, and every play, it's based off the same foundation, a substance, something that was here before we were here. But if we really put it in common sense, that's the only thing that we can really package up and sell. What else? Because me personally, right, when I sit here and I think about it, right, and I overthink about it and I really meditate on it, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that we can conclude when it comes to our spirituality, that something happened or something created or something was there, a substance was there to make everything else play out the way it has played out thus far, and created the world that we see. Because at the end of the day, we didn't ask to be here, in a sense of, I ain't gonna say we ain't asked to be here, but I'm gonna say we were put here for a particular reason, and there were things already here for us to achieve the goal or the purpose for us to be here for that particular reason in the first place. Everything was already here. It was already a base foundation. And so what we see in religions and spirituality and certain factions is that they try to glamorize this fact in order to sell, influence, market, propagandize is a word I like to use, so they can get what they want. At the end of the day, we all got an end goal. We all got an end agenda. So if I put that back into what I said before, and the whole point is we have to implement ourselves in society. And if we don't implement ourselves in society, or our ideas, our dreams, our hopes, our desires into society in order to see society as we want, then other people that don't see society the way that we see it, or want society the way that we see it, are going to implement their ways in society. Because if you don't do it, somebody else will, right? So going back to the religions, the spiritualities, and everything of that nature, because the reason why I start there is because everybody has a foundation of some type of spirituality or religion. Even if you say you don't believe in a higher power or a source of all things, that's still your basis in your spirituality. The way you breathe, the way you walk this earth, that's what we talking about when we talking about spirituality. We're not talking about all that meditating and stuff like that. That has its own titles. All right. Spirituality is just the way you breathe and the way you talk, the walk this walk. That's it. Right. So at the end of the day, even if you're an atheist, that's your spirituality. That's the way you breathe. That's the way you talk. So at the end of the day, you can't run away from the substance, the foundation of something being there to support whatever cause that you want to bring forth. So understanding that, move forward in whatever it is that you want to see in society now. So that's why when we sit back as conspiracy theorists, we sit back as the conscious community, of what people, now they done took the term woke and did their own thing with it. But if you call yourself this, right, then at some point in time, you gotta, you have to ask yourself, if this is really the case, how can the word I'm looking for is not just reconstruct, but re-engineer what they have done to society to help build the society that I want to see, right? Because what's more important than talking, what's more important than thinking, right, is the action that we put in behind that, right? That's why I say, One of the things they say, a man, man live and dies by his word. All a man got is his word. Different things of that nature. But it's not just the word, right? It's the action behind the word, because the action is what dictates if what you talking about or what you thinking is gonna manifest in society in the realm that you see. So we gotta remember that it's not just about thinking it, it's just not about talking it, it's about the action that we putting in. So understanding that your spiritual foundation, your religious foundation is the same basis as everybody else, the same thing with a different story and a different twist. That's however you want to believe. At the end of the day, take that and now you gotta put action behind that. I got the table shaking. Put action behind that and go forward and implement what you want to see in society. And we're not talking, and I'm not talking about no, you getting a job, or not that you not getting a job, but I'm talking about you starting your own business or doing something like that. That can be helping out with somebody at a 9 to 5. That can be helping out doing this and doing that. It's about getting in the environment that holds the same truths and the same beliefs and the same hopes and the same faith that you got, and you can get behind that team and help them win, right? So one of the things that I've been thinking about and just sitting and pondering about is just the simple fact that a lot of people saying, oh, working for this, working for that, it's going to uphold this, it's going to uphold that. At the end of the day, we got to work, right? We going to be working towards something. We're going to be working for something, right? So you're going to have to work. And then that work is always going to go toward someone or something that's bigger than you, or bigger, or big, or for society at a larger scale. There's never a time where we're doing something that you think is just strictly for you. And if you think you're doing something and it's strictly for you, you miss the whole process before you even got what you wanted to get in the first place. Because you had to bless, you had to touch, you had to give, you had to make a transaction in order to receive what you really wanted to receive from the beginning. All right. So just remember, moving forward and implementing into society, it don't gotta be what the person you hearing, myself included, talking about. Go with your intuition. Go with what's inside of you. That's why your spirituality, your religion, whatever you want to call it, whatever title you want to put on it, and however you want to roll, is so important, because that's what's gonna feed into your intuition. Everybody has intuition. Everybody has that. I ain't gonna say everybody has intuition, but for the most part, you should have your intuition. They say everybody don't got an inside voice, but hopefully you got an inside voice. So you can be talking to yourself, thinking to yourself, meditating to yourself, and understanding within yourself, so you know how to move without yourself, moving out here in the world. So to keep going on just the pure potential is that is that reading from the book, is that the first spiritual law of success is the law of pure potential. This law is based on the fact that we are in our own essential state. Pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is pure potential. It is the field of all possibilities and infinite creativity. So we have to really understand, who we are. You know, we everything that we do, we think about it first. Everything. Right? So anything, and that's why the term comes where it says, you are what you think you are. Because when we say conscious community, right, we talking about the way we think, the mental mindset. We're not talking about nothing outside of that, to be honest. It's a different way of thinking, right? So when you get into the unconsciousness, right, that's still consciousness. At the end of the day, they say you're unconscious, but you're still alive. You're still going. Well, what is everything else conscious and you not conscious? So if the table shaking, that's my fault. That's because I'm over here shaking the table, getting excited and different things like that. But um at the end of the day, that's what we are. One of the things that I can't remember the brother name, but it was a pastor from back in the day when he was saying that God lies in our imagination, right? So we have different people, different clues, different sciences, different things that help us understand who we are. And it's other people like you and me that's coming to these conclusions, right? So, and we take what people tell us. This is what we do. We take what people tell us, either we agree with it or we don't. And then we either make it a part of our lives or we take note of it so we can have that information for a later day, right? So, so understanding who you are, when you understand you consciousness, you are a creative being, then you know you got to go out here and create. Whether it's with somebody, it's always gonna be with. And the thing we have to understand, let me say it like this: the thing we have to understand or comprehend, however you want to put it, is that it's always going to take somebody, right? It's always going to take someone. It's going to be another person there with you that's going to be helping you and getting your creativity out while you simultaneously are helping them get their creativity out. It's we all work hand in hand in this. We are all creative beings, no matter what we want to say at the end of the day, because we can say outlandish things, right? Because we got the alien talk, we got the reptilian talk, we got the clone talk, we got whatever you want to talk about, really, right? So, but at the end of the day, all of that is creativity at its true base. When we talk about any of those things and how outlandish we want to be with it, at the end of the day, it's creativity. Because some of the things that we'll despise somebody for doing, we'll go and watch a movie with them doing it in it. So we gotta really and say and then to watch the movie and say, oh, that's a entertainment. It's so creative. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with real life. It's creativity. And it's people creating languages, people creating words, it's people creating uh stories. It's people creating all of the people creating these things, right? It's people creating these things. Why do we know it's people? Because that's who we are. That's who we are, right? It is the field of all possibilities and infinite creativity. And what is that? Pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is pure potentiality. And that's what you are. So when you start to understand and understand who you are, what you capable of, now you can really implement what you want regardless of who you choose as your leader. See, this is the thing, right? And this is one of the things that, some of our teachers tell us, some of our teachers don't. We are all what we call messiahs, what you want to call it, chosen, this, that, and the third. There is no person that ain't. There is no person that's not. And so we have to really comprehend who we are, because once we really comprehend who we are, we not worry about the judgment, because we can be the pure creative being that we was always meant to be. Let's take it on the opposite scale for a minute, right? Let's not talk so positive. Let's talk negative. Let's just throw the negative out there, right? When people do things that we despise, that we don't agree with, right? Is that not is that any less creative than somebody drawing something or bringing something beautiful into society as in a creative standpoint? Whether it's good or bad, it's still creativity. One of the things that it says in scripture, to take it out of this book for a second, is that I forget what book it is, but it says, "I am the good and the light. I am the light in the dark. I'm the good and the evil. I am." And so, at the end of the day, the essence, the substance, the basis foundation of what we call the All, the Most High, the Unbound One, so many names, right? Your name, my name, whatever name. At the end of the day, it's both sides. It's playing both sides. So once you start to really see that and understand that and really comprehend, you can move freely. You can move wholeheartedly in what you do, regardless of what people may say or what people may think. Because as we see year in and year out, things are being orchestrated by other people like me and you. Things are being said, things are being taught by other people like who? Me and you. We be on this app, we listen, we like things from people like me and you. We go out, we see the government doing whatever they doing. We see the politicians doing whatever they doing. Democrats, Republicans. Guess what? They looking like me and you. Even if we say they them outlandish titles, reptilian, alien, insectoids, robot, clone, zombie, regardless, at the end of the day, when we see them, what they look like, me and you. And so we got to start to ask the questions, okay, what is really going on? Like, not in the sense of what is really going on, but who are we really to put ourselves in our own loop of society in this way of thinking that we in, right? And when I say ourselves, we help whoever wanted to do it because we gave into it. And that's why I say we help, right? And I say we, when I say we, I'm talking about ancestors and to the point that we here now, right? So let's go back to the positive, right? Let's go back to the positive. So if we want, right, people, we be talking about land, you know, indigenous rights. I know I'm over here in America. I don't know where a lot of people at, but land, indigenous rights, this, that, and the third. You see people out now, they fighting over land, they doing all of this, all wars over land, resources, all of these different things, right? So we here in America, people that look like me, copper tone people, different things of that nature, right? I've been seeing personally a lot of declarations, um, paperwork, this, that, and the third, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Super, super good, super positive, right? But what I don't see is right? What this is what I don't see. It's when I go driving or when I go turn on the news, right? Or even come on TikTok, I don't see no bruh. I can, and it's even with me, right? So, and this is one of the reasons why I'm saying what I'm saying, because it's just about planting seeds. So I don't see any no real, like, just like Omar said, not Omar, but Dr. Umar, right? No real infrastructures. I don't see the people on the news talking about it. Um, you know, even when I listen to Dr. Umar, even what's the other doctor name or RZA name, or I think, yeah, RZA. These guys, and they say a lot. I listen to them. They say we ain't got this, we ain't got the infrastructure, the hospitals. We worried about this, we worried about that. Blase, 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 squaze, squaze. Cool. Like I get what y'all saying, right? But then I was overthinking. Now this is where the whole name of the podcast come in, the overthinker. Because then now I'm overthinking, right? Well, y'all talking about it. Well, are y'all saying this so somebody can, so somebody else can do it? Or are y'all talking about it because this is what we're implementing in our neighborhoods real time, and we showing our communities how to replicate it real time? I had to go back and see, this is why I had to be thinking about it now, right? Because I just read y'all the first one of the first spiritual laws of success, law of pure potential, right? So when I hear our so-called leaders, whatever you want to call them, leaders, whatever, followers, whoever, right? When I hear them, they say, "Oh, we ain't got the infrastructure, we ain't got this, we ain't got that." Okay, cool, I get it. Oh, you raising money to go build this? Okay, cool, I get it. But then I sit back and be like, well, where's the replication like McDonald's? Where's the franchise? Where's the pharmaceutical whole wellness centers that for the neighborhoods? No, from y'all, the like, and so I think then I start to think, well, y'all looking for somebody else to do it then. You get what I'm saying? And so understanding business and certain things of this world and how certain things set up and how it replicates the foundation of all. I start to look at our leaders and be like, well, y'all, what are y'all leading? Because y'all ain't really doing that, right? Y'all ain't really doing nothing. It's this thing called, and I say this because it's this thing called business. You can buy businesses. It's called acquisitions. You can do acquisitions and mergers, right? And so you can buy businesses. Like you can go buy a pharmaceutical company. You can go buy a a plaza and put a medical center there. You can go and get all this stuff. You can buy it, and the bank will give you money. And then we it's the one thing that like a lot of people say, "Oh, the bank ain't for you. This ain't that and the third." Well, that's because we don't understand. We don't do all our research and stuff. Y'all excuse me real quick. So we don't do, a lot of us, we listen to other people, but we don't go do our due diligence, right? So we don't go do our due diligence at times as individuals. There ain't nothing wrong with that, right? I ain't gonna sit here and say that um you know, we need to go out here, everybody need to do their due diligence and different things like that. Now we live in a time of information. You keep doing what you're doing at the end of the day. But what I'm saying is that there are things out here. There you can go buy a nursery, right? You can go buy a a farm. You can go get these, you can go buy these things that people are selling because they don't want to do it no more. They too old. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that, whatever the case. But I say that to say this. Why do I know something like that, but I'm not in the position that Dr. Umar in? I'm not in the position that Riza in. So you sitting here telling me we can go on camera, get paid thousands of dollars for this interview, thousands of dollars for this interview, but then we can't turn around, go by we can't turn around and figure out how to franchise the same thing that you bash in our community about for not having. That don't make sense to me, right? So it's like, okay, well, I guess the people, us regular people, gonna have to be the ones to go out here and do it. Because the thing is, the leaders, I ain't gonna say they not doing anything, they giving us good words of wisdom, but at the end of the day, we have to start using our pure potential, our pure creativity, and start to implement these things into society. And that's one of the things that I hope to do, is just to be an example. I ain't trying to, all the talking stuff is It's neither here or there, but I just know I gotta talk. you know? So at the end of the day, I just wanna, plant the seed with this spiritual law is that we can go out here and do it as the people, man. We don't need these guys, that these so-called leaders, these so-called activists, uh, whatever they want to be. You know what I'm saying? Psychologists, whatever. At the end of the day, it can be us cleaning up the neighborhoods. It can be us cleaning up the projects. It can be us uh, doing whatever we need to do, right? In order to see what we want to see when we step out the door, in order to see what we want to see when we leave our house. Us, the people. And the thing is, one thing I realized, it's always been the people. We give a lot of power to the elites. We give a lot of power to these one percenters and all these different things because of, a particular lifestyle that they show. But at the end of the day, it's always been about the people. If you ask anybody that's been successful in their life, monetary wise, or if you ask anybody that's successful in their field, it's always been about the people. If it ain't the people as the majority, it's always been about the people that they surround themselves with. So it's always about the people. So if we want to see those changes, then it takes us. And to kind of get on the I want to switch topics here and kind of lead off that is the the epidemic or the pandemic. One of the things 4 years, after 3 years after, is that you seen one of the things you really seen is you seen the power of the 1%, and then you seen the power of the people at the same time. And so one of the things that I always say about that whole pandemic era and all of that different things um is that it was a recreation of the influenza. And the reason why I say that is because one of the things that our generation was missing was a major event. That's it. Something that would get people like the baby boomers and these people back getting on vaccines, taking these shots and all of this stuff. It's just really that simple. And it was money. Pharmaceutical companies were losing money. Pfizer and them was down. Like, if you was watching the stocks and different things of that nature, Pfizer was going for like less than $1, around $1, $2, $3 back in, I want to say what this was, 2006, 2007. So my thing is, and the reason why I gotta say stuff like this and bring it back to reality and help people understand, them people could have been shooting egg yolks in people's arms at the end of the day. People still out here having kids walking around strong. And the reason why I say this is because certain leaders of ours had us, and I ain't, whether you got it or whether you didn't get it, really didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter regardless. It was just all a show. So, and the thing is, certain leaders was saying this and saying that, all type of just crazy stuff. And so I guess only time would tell at the end of the day. But it's funny because I view the world, especially the American media, as a movie. I view it as entertainment. Thank you, I appreciate you. I view it as entertainment. I don't see it as something that's concerning really what I got going on in my life. It's, you talking about billions and billions of people on the planet, across the plane, individuals that got their own reality. One thing that me and my father, we was having a conversation. We have long talks and different things, right? Is that everybody has their own reality. Nobody is thinking the same. There's nobody thinking the same way. Sometimes you have instances, right, where you was like, man, I was just thinking that. But those are people that you've been around, usually, build a relationship, or sometimes you just have that person that you click with, right? But at the end of the day, everybody's in their own reality. So, so what goes on, what the news want to say, this, that, and the third, I don't see it. That ain't in my reality. Regardless, if they be like, oh, you need to be concerned about these people over here and that. Cool, I send a prayer out if they want it. If they want it. But at the end of the day, it's not my reality. So it's not in my realm. It's not in my domain, right? So, and that's just, it is what it is at the end of the day. And but everybody's not in that same, and thinking the same way or in the same realities, even though we all might be on the same plane. Even though we all might be on the same plane, does not mean we are all still in that same reality. We all have a different reality that's based up on the same foundation. That's why when we were talking about spirituality and religions earlier, all of them based on the same foundation. It ain't nothing out here. Thank y'all for the love. I appreciate it. We on different frequencies. I like that. So I mean, I agree with that, and I like it because that's actually that's what it is. You know, it's frequencies. That's why everything in our body. One of the things that Aki Awaken always was he says, but I really heard it from Dr. Africa, is that everything in our body is liquid with hairs. So everything is based on the vibration of that liquid in that hair, that antenna that's reading it. That's why we look like this. Not because, no, it's because of what's inside. So it's out. That's why when we say, we antennas and we're not just saying that. No, that's what's inside of us. So what's inside of us is going to be what? Outside of us. As above, so below. As within, so without. So understanding that, we can see how people are in different realities. So we just have to remember that, and we still on the COVID, and that whole aftermath thing. We still just got to remember how, they played on our realities, they played on our frequencies, they played on, and that's everybody. I'm not just talking people that took the shot. I'm talking about the ones that didn't. I'm talking about the ones that did. It doesn't matter because they played us. It was a money thing. Line my pockets back up, get us our stocks back up, our shareholders back up. We can do some mergers. Some other people gonna eat because we can do the pandemic relief. If they get on it, they get on it. Some of these other people eat, lock some of these other people up so we can get people in here for the jail stuff. We talk about agendas, right? That's all it was. It was nothing more, right? It was nothing more. It was nothing less. So that whole thing is just funny, looking back 4 years later on that, and just seeing how everything, transpired, and just seeing how everything is now. It's just funny to me. Um, you know, so that's why I stick with what is given to me to say. I stick to what is given, my intuition give me, and I don't too much go too far fetched. But it's just funny. And one thing I just realized is that we are the ones that's creating the story, or we helping create the story. And so once we realize that, then we can really see the now we going back to we coming off of the COVID, but now we finna hit back into the pure potential. Now we can see how we can use our pure potential, our pure creativity, our infinite creativity, in order to achieve what we want to see in society. And when we say infinite creativity, right? And we talking about and we talking about a field of all possibility in that infinite creativity. We're not talking about in just, yes, it lies in that one individual, excuse me, but it's also the person that's next to you. It's the person that's helping you. Wow, coach, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. See y'all. See you. I see you. So it's not just it's not just the person. It's not just you with the creativity. It's also the person that's helping you get to where you need to. It's also the person that you helping get to where they need to. It's not just it's not just all within you. It's everyone that's around you. It's your environment. It's the people that you choose to be a part of your team. That's what we talk about when we talk about infinite creativity. Because society, that's why it's important for us to go out here and implement the things we want to see in society. We're not talking about voting. We can't. One thing we gotta really, right, a lot, we know this, right? If we know that government is there to help govern your mental, govern your way of thinking, so things is smooth, I guess, for the government and for people at large. Why are you putting your trust and your vote, your money behind someone that's there to govern your mentality? What is the root? Excuse the word that I'm gonna use. Hopefully they don't ban me or nothing. But terrorism, right? That's a political act, right? To get the masses to go with their opinion or their agenda, their option. This ain't nothing. It's nothing new. So when we start to really understand those things, then we got to, as the people, we got to start taking things in our own hands. That's all, really, and be more supportive of each other and value each other more, because why? We bring the value. The people bring the value. Any person that want to be successful, they want to have influence over people. Any person that want to have fame, fortune, and all this stuff, the American dream, right? They gotta have influence over people. So you have to understand, and comprehend how valuable you are. That's why one of the things they say in entrepreneurship and things of this nature is give people value, give people value, give people what value. Why? Because in turn they're gonna give you what you want, which is money from a business perspective. So the value of them Skittles that you was eating earlier, you paid them little $1.50 for the Skittles. So the value of the Skittles was worth $1.50. But then you go back into a health nut. Well, what's the value of your life for them Skittles? Because they'll be like, oh, the Skittles got this, that. But people out here that's been eating Skittles for 50 years and they been chilling. They ain't tripping. So it's just a perspective thing, and then it's also just how do you want to go out here and implement your creativity. We can't keep getting hung up on what the government doing, what these so-called elites doing, when they people that's really like you and me. And then if we want to say those extreme names again, reptilians, aliens, this, that, and the third, and all of this stuff, right? At the end of the day, that's still creativity. Because at the end of the day, the person that told you about this stuff looked like you and me. So we cannot run away from the fact that who here? You and me. Who got to get it done? You and me. Are people that look like who? You and me. So we gotta keep going and understanding that, okay, I can't keep pointing the finger, I can't keep blaming if I want to see a certain change in society. If I don't want to see that change in society, then by all means, just keep doing what you're doing. Like you good. Like it's not hurt. When I say it's not hurting you, it's not hurting them, however you want to put it. Because one thing from my perspective and how I see people in my overthinking ways, right, is we've been doing the same thing for years. For years, whether we was eating fruits doing it, whether we was eating meat, whether we was technology was involved to the point where it is now. And we was living like cavemen or fresh out the fertile dirt. All I know is that I can't even say that I know, because all I know is I know nothing. But all I see is the world doing what it's always done. And at the end of the day, ain't nothing wrong with it. Now, when I say ain't nothing wrong with it, that's because I have accepted the negative with the positive. Because it's always something that can be better implemented. It's always something that we can go towards, right? To make society better, to make our life better, to make the community better. But at the end of the day, when you accept the negative with the positive, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And so that's just to me when I overthink it, though. That's just to me when I overthink it. That's me. But it's some things I feel like in society can be better. So I'm doing my best in order to um, help make those changes, right? And so that's and to me personally, when I sit back and meditate, I sit back and just have my mindful conversations, is 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 that excuse me is that I just want to leave my fingerprint, for those who can't see an abundant life in the life that they live. Because it's not about, because everything that we have is exactly what we need, right? And I understand that some people go through worse things than this, worse things than that. But at the end of the day, this is what's like what baffles me even, but I had to accept it, right? Because none of this stuff is for us, in the sense of I can say I'm getting me this, I'm getting me that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, nothing I have done was for me. And when I say this, I want y'all to really hear me, and really listen, is because it don't matter how much you want to do for yourself. You cannot do for yourself without doing for somebody else. Like, you can think you selfish is all day, or somebody can think you selfish is all day, whatever the case. But everything you do is literally for somebody else. And so, and I had to accept it. I had to accept that. And once I accepted that helped me accept a lot of the negative things that people have to go through. That helped me understand and just come to a realization that, you know everybody ain't going through the same thing, right? Everybody ain't going through or having the reality that I'm having, or you having, or the comfort, or whatever the case, right? But at the end of the day, negative and positive, they ain't taking no names on nobody. They don't take names. Experiences don't take names. You know what I'm saying? So that's the funny thing about life, and that we always pondering about, well, if there is a supposed all natural higher, or whatever the case, why isn't it helping these people out here supposed to be, at war, or doing this or doing that, or whatever the case? Because at the end of the day, it's all entertainment. At the end of the day, it's all entertainment. And I know it sounds like kind of just like what you mean by that is just is pleasure, is bliss for something, for someone. And you can't, and it's hard to and it's not just bliss, because it's like when you watching a heartfelt movie, or you watching a thriller, or you watching a horror, it's certain emotions that you're going through. So when I say entertainment, I'm not just talking about funny. I'm not just talking about something that feels good. I'm talking about the scary part of the movie. I'm talking about the part of the movie that got your heart racing. I'm talking about you had to keep watching horror movies so you weren't scared of horror movies no more part. You get what I'm saying? So it's, or you got the love movies and you shed a tear on the love movie, or you was watching the Avengers and when Tony Stark died, you was crying. Little stuff like that. So it's like when I say entertainment, I'm talking about the emotions that's behind it, not the people that's dancing or acting these characters. Because the whole point of entertainment is to pull on your emotional strings, on your heart strings, on your heart, your personal heart, right? So that's life though. Like, and when we see entertainment, what does entertainment do? It portrays life. When I say entertainment, we're talking about movies, poetry, comedy, whatever. It all portrays what we see, and we packages it up and provide it as a form of entertainment, or as a form of distraction, or a form of something else to do, or something else to get your mind off whatever you was trying to get your mind off. And that's what I see entertainment as. So that's why I say, you know, that you know that a lot of the things that we do in life is for somebody else. It's simply for somebody else, whether that individual standing next to you, or that's the individual that you went and paid for whatever you wanted for yourself out the store. At the end of the day, you had to work with somebody else in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve. So now if you say you're getting it by yourself, hey, you got to show me how you doing that. And I mean by yourself. So, but But yeah, so that's one of the seeds we wanted to plant tonight. Well, I wanted to plant tonight, especially with this is the first episode of the Overthinker, and just helping helping someone out there understand that you have the creativity, you have the pure potential, you have the power, and you already in your purpose, and all you got to do is just go. Just take the action steps in order to fulfill what it is that you need to fulfill. you know and it doesn't matter. People want to bash 9 to 5s, people want to bash entrepreneurship, people want to bash everything, right? People got something to say about everything. At the end of the day, it don't matter what you do or where you go. At the end of the day, put the action behind it, right? Whatever information you like to listen to, apply the information to your life, right? And then use your creativity, your spin, and then help society out, because we are nation builders. We are nation builders. We are sovereign nation builders. That is what we are. So, and it takes us to help everything go out here. Yeah, it'd be like, oh, well, what do you mean? I'm just one person. I'm not talking about just one. I'm talking about the collective. It takes us, the people. That's everybody. It takes us. So, I just wanted to plant that seed and really help, whoever it is out there that might come across this video, just to really just trust in your creativity, your pure potential, trust in your intuition, and whatever spirituality, religion you want to be in, however that goes, right? Use that. Use whatever you got to use in order to implement the things you want to see in society. Leave your fingerprint, not just, you know, a fond memory of you, but leave your fingerprint on society to help others, and to help others know that this life is abundant, no matter how much turmoil, how much uh, famine they want to say that's going on and different things of that nature. At the end of the day, the plane that we live on is abundant. And so we just, I just that's just one of the seeds I wanted to plant. To be honest, what time is it? About 12:45. We'll be in over here about 15 more minutes, to be honest, and see what's going on. But yeah, so so that's probably gonna be it for the night, y'all. So that's it, man. Uh, the first spiritual law of success is the law of pure potential. So hopefully, y'all able to use that law. Y'all able to use your creativity and whatever higher power that you following. Hopefully, you're able to create the life that you want, and then not only that, implement that into society to see the society that you want, or help see the society that you want. So